With the Galaxy S6, Samsung has taken a big step forward, but how does it compare to the iPhone 6? One look at the phone and you'll see some similarities between the pair, but where Samsung phones of the past were mostly plastic, on the GS6 we're looking at an all glass and aluminum body.
I don't think it's a bad thing that Samsung kind of took a radical change, that they kind of stepped outside their box because it was getting a little repetitive and boring, but they're both relatively slippery phones. And I think if I had to choose between the two, I'd say the Galaxy S6 feels better, but it's really close.
Personally, I think the Galaxy S6 Edge looks even better than the normal S6, but regardless, when put beside the iPhone, I think Samsung has delivered a much nicer looking and feeling package. If you're buying a high-end smartphone in 2015, it had better have a great display, and thankfully both the iPhone and Galaxy deliver here. The GS6 has a bigger 5.1-inch screen with a massive resolution of 2560 by 1440, compared to the iPhone, which measures in at 4.7 inches at 1334 by 750. While the Galaxy S6 on paper has a screen that's nearly twice as sharp, the difference isn't anywhere near as noticeable in real usage. If you get close, yes, you can see pixels on the iPhone, and there's no doubt that the AMOLED screen on the Galaxy S6 is superior, but it's a narrow victory to be sure. Alright, so now let's see how the slow motion video on these compare.
And what better way to do that than on swings?
Oh, you stuck the landing, dude! High five! Yeah, that's definitely not particularly smooth. What do you think, 15 frames, something like that?
Yeah, definitely not 30.
And the glorious dismount. Oh, points for style. That's actually not bad. That's not bad at all.
You're next. More.
More? All right, fine. All right, this time.
It was at this moment that Austin knew he f***ed up.
Oh. And up, up, up. Oh. Okay, so for the conclusion here, I think you win on the dismount and the iPhone wins, so yeah.
That's fair to say.
I'm gonna go like brush off now. Judner, John, and I recently did an in-depth comparison between the cameras on the iPhone, Galaxy S6, along with the HTC One M9, which you guys can check out, but the fact that you can get cameras this good on smartphones is nothing short of awesome. If specs are your thing, the Galaxy S6 is rocking an 8-core processor, 3GB of RAM, and up to 128GB of memory. The iPhone 6 has the awesome Apple A8, which while down on paper is a serious powerhouse, a less impressive 1GB of RAM, and options up to 128GB of storage as well. Benchmarks show a respectable multi-score lead for the S6, with a smaller but still substantial lead in graphics. On the flip side, the Galaxy S6 has to push over 3 times as many pixels, so it needs all the power it can get.
Side by side, it's hard to say that one is significantly faster than the other. I think we got to this point in smartphones where nothing really sucks or is terrible anymore. If you're gonna browse through basic apps and email and web browsing, they're both really snappy phones.
Both phones are loaded up on features as well. On the iPhone, you've got Apple Pay, which is a very cool way of paying for things. However, in a few months, the Galaxy S6 should get Samsung Pay, which promises to do much the same thing. They're also sporting fingerprint readers, and unlike on the Galaxy S5, Samsung has made an actually usable setup here. Touch ID is one of those features that doesn't seem like a big deal until you don't have it, and thankfully Samsung's implementation is almost indistinguishable from the iPhone. You also get a heart rate monitor on the back of the S6 compared to the reversible lightning port on the iPhone. No matter which way you go, you're getting feature-packed phones.
The Galaxy S6 battery hasn't been too impressive. At the end of a workday, I end up finding myself having to charge it. Luckily, it charges pretty quickly, but it hasn't been too impressive so far.
The iPhone 6 battery is not great. I think it's subpar, and from my initial experience with the Galaxy S6, that's not great as well. I know they actually brought the battery down slightly from last year's Galaxy S5, so really, if you're a powerhouse user, I don't think either phone is really gonna get you through a full day.
On one hand, you've got iOS, a thin if a bit slippery design, and a camera that's hard to beat. On the other, you've got all the customizability of Android, a classy glass and metal build, and an